starting on the right, on the left of defence, Mark Wilson, as Gordon Strachan continues his search for a full-time replacement there. Well, Spurs supporters are going to have to wait at least for a few minutes to get a glimpse of the latest arrival, David Bentley, among the Spurs side, which does include Dimitar Berbatov. He's been a virtual spectator for the last couple of games. He will partner Darren Bent up front, though. 7 goals for him in the last 2 games, easing that departure of Robbie Keane. The central midfield combination, the same as that started against Leyton Orient on Wednesday, as Tom Huddleston and Luka Modric in that engine room.
Well, Gordon Strachan did go 5 in midfield, 1 up top against Porto last week, but reverted to type tonight. This is a more favoured system from Gordon Strachan. Mark Wilson, right-footed, but playing in the left side tonight to accommodate Andres Hinkle, who comes in at right back. And Barry Robson coming in for Shunsuke Nakamura. Although I think in the absence of Nakamura, Spurs shouldn't think that they're not going to be without threat at set pieces. Robson terrific when he comes in onto that left foot. Further forward, Venegurov, Hesling and Scott McDonald have travelled the very best in Europe tonight, and I think it'll be a right good test for Michael Dawson and Jonathan Woodgate. As for Spurs, well, Wanderamo is still trying to integrate so many new players into the side. Unfamiliar looking Tottenham side, not least at full-back, where Zakora comes in at left-back. Gilberto has been playing there. On the other side, Asui Koto, who has played very little football because of injury, might have his work tested, a work cut out tonight against Aidan McGeady. But the real beauty for me in this Spurs side lies in midfield. And there's no question that they haven't spent £17 million on Luka Modric unless they're going to make him the focal point of that midfield. We have set them up as a flat 4 tonight, but I think at times Lennon and Jenis will tuck in either side and try and get Modric to go and do his best work between Celtic's midfield and the back line. At times Bent will go long, Berbatov will come off, and when Berbatov does drop short to link, Modric has to go below.
Well, he's been the focus of a highly eventful close season at Tottenham Hotspur. Dimitar Berbatov, will he or won't he be at the club in a fortnight's time when the action gets underway in earnest and the start of the Barclays Premier League? Well, he's in the thick of it tonight, a rare outing for him in Spurs pre-season. And Spurs get this one off and underway. A friendly pre-season tournament, but always a little bit of an edge to a friendly when an SPL side take on one from south of the border. Add to the fact that Celtic are just that week or so away from kicking off the defence of their SPL title. We might just see a fairly full-blooded affair here. Luka Modric already drifting out to this left side, but it is Celtic and Gary Caldwell in possession. The goals have quite simply been flowing in, a torrent of them for Spurs in their last couple of games. Tests against lower league opposition, who of course start their season at the same time as Celtic do. A 5-1 win on Wednesday night against Leyton Orient, a 5-1 win away at Carrow Road, the home of Norwich City, on Monday. The bulk of those goals being scored by Darren Bent. Caldwell looking long on what is a pretty warm evening in the biggest port in Europe, the city of Rotterdam. Not quite as hot as it was here yesterday, but nonetheless pretty good conditions. If a slight breeze here on a pitch which looks pretty good, but it was only laid here some 3 days ago, so maybe, just maybe, that'll cut up. Aaron Lennon for Tottenham Hotspur, leaving Brown in his wake. Asua Koto getting forward.
Typical tracking run there from Paul Hartley. Had to come back 50 yards there to cut out the cross.
Berbatov. Jermaine Jenas, another one of the Spurs players who has committed his future to the club. There have been plenty of departures, arrivals of course, notably David Bentley, who Spurs supporters will hope they'll get a chance to see here at some point. If not today, then another match of course against Borussia Dortmund on Sunday. Huddleston. Didier Zakora. He's continuing his roundabout of roles. He's played in the heart of defence and the heart of midfield in Spurs pre-season. Plenty of full-back options on the bench with the likes of Gareth Bale and Chris Gunter. Here's Darren Bent. Useful ball for Lennon. And full stretch, Caldwell able to block, but Spurs will look to come again here. Darren Bent looking to supply the ammunition for Berbatov, and that came off Genius.
Should have scored. It's a terrific chance, won't get a better chance. Previous to that, Celtic looking for offside, caught very square, very tight decision. But when it came in, Jermaine Genius has all the time in the world here. He has to score there. Came off his shoulder.
No Ledley King in the starting lineup here as he continues to get over the effects of missing the run-in last season. So the captain's armband worn by the man who was presented with the first chance of the afternoon, Jermaine Genius. Isu Akoto wins the free kick. He was present at the press conference here to publicise the tournament last night, Jermaine Genius, and speaking about his delight at being part of the Juan de Ramos revolution, which continues to gather pace. Not a bad start, was it, winning a trophy as he took over and steadied the ship last season. The thing they'll be looking to improve, though, this year, and the signs are good early on, aren't they, with all these wonderful arrivals, including this man, is that league position of 11th. And they break into that elusive top 4.
It's been interesting to see what Spurs get off Aaron Lennon tonight, Bill, because he knows he's under real pressure with the signing of David Bentley. Interesting to see what kind of response we'll get off him tonight.
It's not the first test that Celtic have had this pre-season against English Premier League opposition. Mixed results so far in the Algarve tournament that they took part in. They managed to draw against Middlesbrough. Beaten fairly emphatically at Craven Cottage against Fulham very early on in their preparations. And they complete the set with a win here over Tottenham Hotspur. It's the Londoners who have a free kick and a chance to test Celtic's defence, the meanest in Scotland last year. Plenty of firepower they need to contend with here. Woodgate and Dawson both forward from the back. And that man an ever-present threat, the big Bulgarian. In by Genius, too close though to Artur Boruc. Suakoto and Huddleston. And in a midfield combination, if you play a 4, you quite often have the sort of silk and steel, if you like. One player will get his foot in and the other to spray the ball about, but they've got 2 good ball-playing central midfielders out there, Spurs, haven't they? Huddleston and Modric.
I think the problem for Celtic in terms of Modric is that you can't really man-mark Modric. He plays anywhere at all between middle and front. And if you do go man-on-man with him, he'll take you all over the pitch.
And they got a little glimpse of what he's capable of, some of these Celtic players. Modric, part of that Croatia side, which came and drew as part of their preparations for the European Championships. And Croatia certainly won plenty of friends with their displays, ultimately beaten by the never-say-die attitude of Turkey and Austria and Switzerland. Here's Wilson. McDonald able to find a little bit of space in between the Spurs midfield and back line. McGeady trying in vain to get into the match. No doubt about it. So much of what is good about Gordon Strachan's side comes through Aidan McGeady, and touched a little bit earlier on about the lack of new arrivals, but that 5-year contract that Aidan McGeady put his signature on, as good a piece of business as they could have hoped to have done. Here's Berbatov. Combination of Hinkle and Robson able to dispossess the Spurs striker. Scott Brown. Away from Bent. McDonald. Venegorov Hesselink on the move.
It's a slack pass from Scott McDonald, but he's getting a bit of joy. He's dropping off Michael Dawson, getting it into his feet, getting room to get turned. I think Spurs should show him a little bit more respect, get a little bit tighter on him.
Sakura goes up through the gears. Genius. And the corner by Aaron Lennon. Slightly took the momentum out of the move. There's a good point you make about Aaron Lennon. Must have some doubts in his mind as to exactly what his role is going to be. in the season to come. Still plenty of other names linked with the arrival. Easy to forget because he seems to have been around for a long time when he burst onto the scene with Leeds. He's only 21, but it's time to make that next step for him perhaps this season. When you look at both sides, he's certainly not the only one out there who'll be looking to take a step on next season. Scott Brown, perhaps, you could put in that category for Celtic. A bit of light and shade to his first campaign after that big money move from Hibs. Hinkle. Genus. Brown snaps in. Now Barry Robson. Benoit Su-Akoto. His time in English football has been punctuated by a succession of serious injuries. Zakura. Huddleston. Zakura. Cut out by Hartley. Now Robson goes to ground.
You can see even this early, Modric has been given a completely free role, can play anywhere he wants. Janus just a fraction late here on Barry Robson. Not a lot in it. The referee couldn't have been better placed to call it. But no surprise for me, Bill, that the game is very low tempo. It's still very warm. I think both teams would probably have preferred to play second tonight. And as a result of the heat here, it's a pretty slow tempo right now.
And the Celtic supporters certainly warmed up, as they tend to be wherever they go. Making themselves heard here at De Kuip Stadium. Feyenoord's home and the spiritual home as well of Dutch football. Ask a Dutch international, and most of them will say that this is where they prefer to play their internationals. Tend to move it around. The Amsterdam Arena, another of the venues where the national side come, and of course Scotland need to come to Holland as part of their qualification for the World Cup in South Africa 2010. Venegor of Hesseling. He's down the road in Eindhoven that he did most of his good work in Dutch football. Venegor of Hesseling getting the better of Dawson. Now McGeady. Chance for him to run at Zakura. First time we've seen this so far this afternoon. McGeady, good-looking ball in. Venegor of Hesseling, well defended by Jonathan Woodgate. Needed to be as well.
Well, I didn't even have to look up there, Aidan McGeady. He knew exactly where the centre-forward was going to be. Just shifted it onto his right side, hung it up at the back post. Didn't even look up, because he knows Venegor of Hesseling is going to be peeling off to the back post area. And Woodgate, although he didn't win it, did enough to make sure he wasn't getting it cleanly.
First corner of the match for Celtic. Robson to take. Now Hartley rather undersold. Berbatov trying to get beyond Hartley. He has given the free kick in the end. The referee, or has he? McGeady. Wilson. Different stages of pre-season preparations. Both managers, Juande Ramos and Gordon Strachan, no doubt looking for slightly different things out of these two games. They have a rest day, of course, tomorrow before resuming hostilities in this Jubilee tournament on Sunday. Hartley. Fizzed into Brown, hard one for him to control. Huddleston for Genus. Might have let it go there, the referee, but he's pulled it back for a free kick.
Well, Tom Huddleston saw the challenge coming, managed to get his feet up, saw Scott Brown coming late. Made sure both feet were off the ground there. Scott Brown never getting there in time. But that's what he does, Scott Brown. He's there to put a bit of bite on.
14 yellow cards last season, testament to the fact that he's more often than not in the thick of it. Played each other in a few friendlies over the years, these two, Celtic and Spurs, but never in a competitive match. As fairly competitive as Robson looks to shoulder his way beyond Asuakoto, who lies prone on the ground.
Well, Asuakoto just ended up wrong side there. Barry Robson just leading with his right arm there. Clearly caught him, otherwise he was breaking into good space. What a signing this boy's been for Celtic. Again, there's a good edge to his game, but from the set piece, very few better, including Shunsuke Nakamura.
Nakamura not among the Celtic travelling party here to Holland for this tournament, but high hopes that he will be ready for the, if not the opening, certainly the early stages of Celtic season. And as we heard Gordon Strachan say before the match in the interview, he still feels he's just a little bit short of numbers. Names are often linked, and of course he'll be very keen to bring in a few before the start of the season. Jermaine Jenas. Berbatov. Bent. Darren Bent must be coursing with confidence. Modric will settle for the Tottenham corner.
Well, the build-up all came from Berbatov dropping off, and Celtic had a little bit of a problem. They weren't sure, the two centre-backs, whether to go all the way with him or pass him on to Paul Hartley, and he got in between. That's what we were saying of the front two from Spurs. This fella, Berbatov, far happier dropping off, terrific at linking, and at times Modric will go beyond him.
Jenas with the corner. Berbatov was the target, but Scott McDonald of all people cleared. Back in by Aaron Lennon. Berbatov offside.
Yeah, did well. Celtic cleared the penalty area as quickly as they could. Mark Wilson last out, half a yard.
Dawson rose well above Jan Vennegoor-Hesselink. Few rumours that he might have been playing his football on this ground more regularly come the new season. Vennegoor-Hesselink, Feyenoord linked with a move to bring him back to Holland. Hasn't materialised though. And for all their good history, Feyenoord not exactly particularly flush with money at the moment. A luxury that Tottenham certainly have. It's a bit of a case of the haves and the have-nots when you look at, even though Celtic back-to-back last 16 places in the Champions League, 3 consecutive titles in Scotland, but not able to compete in the same transfer league as the side they're up against here. Brown. McGeady. Jenas finds Bent. Aaron Lennon. Stuck his eye off the ball there, Aaron Lennon. That's why Celtic have it back with Aidan McGeady. Wilson now. Berbatov for Bent. He's up on his own at the moment. Lennon provides support and pace down that right. Modric waits in the middle. Caldwell. Neither side at the moment really able to keep hold of any sustained possession to create too many chances. Probably the best opportunity in the opening 18 minutes or so coming. A close-range header from Jermaine Jenas. Wilson. McGeady. McManus, the man who lifted that SPL trophy some 4 months ago now. Robson. Hartley. Robson forced back by the hunting Spurs pack. And here's Gary Caldwell, looking for Vennegoor of Hesselink. Dawson got in a bit of a muddle. Vennegoor of Hesselink. McDonald trying to keep it alive and doing a good job as well. Aidan McGeady. 4 Celtic hoop shirts, Wade in the middle. McGeady might try and do it himself. Blocked out by Huddleston. Hartley now. Good little spell this for the Scots. Left through to come to Vennegoor of Hesselink. Wasn't quite ready for it.
Well, it was the Dutch striker who showed inside right channel. That's what gives Spurs the problem. Michael Dawson ended up wrong side. And he got a good ball into the area. More encouraging for Celtic.
Didier Zakora. Dawson for Suakoto. Hasn't really had the opportunity to get forward down this left side. Tried to do it there. Hinkle. Robson. It's 5 down and 3 to go for Celtic in what has been a pretty busy pre-season. Preparing for that SPL kickoff. All started off with a testimonial in Southampton, which they won, then that defeat of Fulham we were talking about a few moments ago. Tournament in the Algarve, which ended up winless. Defeat to Cardiff City and draw against Middlesbrough. Last time out, plenty of encouragement taken though. And they took on Porto on Portuguese soil and got a rare away win in Europe. All this, no doubt, this foreign test that Gordon Strachan's getting in the build-up to the season, helping to end that elusive run without a win away from home in the Champions League. They've managed it courtesy of the wonderful home form the last couple of years to get to the last 16. Now it would help if they can pick things up on the road. Aidan McGeady. Here's Wilson now. Brown. McManus. McGeady. Has 2 for company. Zakora and Lennon. Still picks out Brown. McGeady. Wilson's cross. Dipped through to Vennegoor of Hesselink, who couldn't get the contact he was hoping for.
Well, he was certainly the target at the back post. Vennegoor of Hesselink was standing with his arm up as he has for a good part of this match. I think at times he wants the ball played a little bit earlier, and you know, when you have a fella who's 6'3" and very good in the air, there's no shame in going back to front now and again.
Zakora targeting bent. Boruc, who's had precious little to do so far in the Celtic goal. And said that it's hardly been that busy for Aurelio Gomez at the other end of his return to Dutch soil. The Brazilian who had those pretty successful 4 seasons at PSV Eindhoven. McDonald's made a good run, stayed on side as well. Robson breaking a neck to try and provide support. It's come through to Aidan McGeady. Chance here perhaps for Celtic, deflected wide.
Well, Zakora did well. Just stayed in his feet, didn't commit to Aidan McGeady. Just made himself as wide as possible and got a good deflection here on the McGeady shot. Just made himself as wide as possible. But again, good width on the other side from Celtic. Scott McDonald springing the offside trap. Could have played it in earlier, but there was no real support.
Robson will take it. Multitude of targets for him. Venegor of Hesselink is on the move, but Berbatov defended that well. McDonald. Hooked away by Huddleston. Brown. Jonathan Woodgate has been eased through the last couple of weeks in pre-season. All those concerns about the serious injuries he's had in the past. Hasn't played as many games as some of those around him. Sat out the ones against Orient and Norwich in the earlier part of this week. You would think, though, that the Dawson-Woodgate pairing at the back will be first choice, even though the men alongside them in the full-back slots may not be there when it all kicks off against Middlesbrough in a fortnight's time for Spurs. That's a slack back pass. Bent is in here. Can he get round Boruc? He can! And a fine finish from the man in form for Tottenham Hotspur. Darren Bent's red-hot pre-season continues.
Well, you got to hand it to him. He was on his toes. Paul Hartley trying to find Arthur Boruc. But 10 out of 10 to Darren Bent for the anticipation here. The minute Hartley turns towards his own goal, he's on his way. Boruc on the edge of his box. Good first touch by Bent, not too heavy, and it allowed him well, it was a tight angle, but just enough to squeeze in. He doesn't have an awful lot to hit from this angle, but he makes a very good job of the finish. Good anticipation there from the striker, but not a moment that Paul Hartley will have enjoyed.
In the current climate of pre-season, if there's one man you don't want to give a sniff of a chance to, it is Darren Bent. And he's now on his way to a hat-trick of hat-tricks within the space of 5 days. McManus. Hartley. Modric. Suddenly a spring in the Spurs step. Asuakoto. The worrying thing from a Celtic perspective is that you look at their form over this week, they've tended to score most of their goals in the second half of friendly games. They were trailing Leyton Orient, for example, on Wednesday. Just the late goal managed to get a lead against Norwich, but scored 3 in the second half. Celtic beware.
I've got to say it's an uncharacteristic mistake from Paul Hartley that led to the goal. But Bent on his way very quickly there. First touch is delightful because it's not too heavy. And it's a very decent finish.
8-3 this week for Darren Bent. Here's Sakura. Frustrating thing for Celtic is that they were enjoying a good spell before Hartley's generosity and Bent's clinical finishing. And for all the positives that Gordon Strachan has taken out of pre-season, they haven't been prolific in front of goal. It's the odd goal here and there, not the avalanche that Spurs have managed in their pre-season games.
Terrific feat here from Berbatov. So quick-footed for such a big man. First time in the match that Woodgate's gone up. Dawson as well.
Celtic holding a line on the edge of their penalty area. The hoops punctuated by the light blue shirts of Tottenham Hotspur. Genus waits to provide the ammunition. Good looking ball. Woodgate was the target, but that was well defended by Venegor of Hesselink. Luka Modric. The man they call the Cruyff of the Balkans. Aaron Lennon. Genus. Here's Didier Zakora. They've stayed forward. And then he'd come forward for the set piece. And Dawson will make his way back to join Jonathan Woodgate. As the immediate threat of attack just dissipates a little. Zakora. Bent. It's a lovely ball for Dimitar Berbatov. Found a way through, but Berbatov had drifted offside.
Yeah, it's just gone a yard or two early. It certainly wasn't being picked up here. Again, I think it's Hinkle on the near side that saw the danger and got up very quickly.
Down at the pitch there, Gary Caldwell, and I'd have an excuse. You can see the seams where the rolls of turf had been joined together. It's given Spurs an opportunity to attack again. Modric spots Sakura in space. Lennon to take on Wilson. Get no change out of the fullback. Too much pressure on Aidan McGeady there, and the Dutch referee, Mr. Kuipers, gives a free kick to the Scottish champions. McGeady. This is the sort of position he likes to collect the ball. Kind of a little ball in towards Barry Robson.
On that occasion, very good of Hesling attacked the front post. Again, McGeady doesn't have to look up. He normally just throws it in back post. The big fella normally peels off into that area. That time he did go front. It was Barry Robson who was coming round the back. I do think Celtic should do more of that. Try and isolate McGeady, get him running at Zakora.
Half an hour played. Not too many chances in the match, but the one that counted, presented by Paul Hartley to Darren Bent. And that is the difference between the sides. Reminder of the rules for the tournament: 3 points for a win. And the side with the most points in the final table wins the final Jubilee Trophy for 2008. If there are two teams level on points, then it goes down to goals scored and ultimately fastest goal scored if needed. 25 minutes on the clock for that Darren Bent effort. Here's Aidan McGeady. Lennon and Zakora. Berbatov.
Just trying to meet Berbatov as high up the pitch as he can there, Steve McManus, determined that he wasn't going to get turned.
Berbatov ends up on the ground as Celtic give it back to Tottenham, and Jermaine Genus. Now Sakura. Genus, pressure by Brown. McGeady and Wilson. that they are looking to use this tournament against pretty good quality opposition from the continent, Celtic, to fine-tune their efforts for the Champions League. And of course, this year don't have to go through the agony and ultimate ecstasy of the qualification, that dramatic nail-biting night they had just over 12 months ago, just under 12 months ago, I should say, against Spartak Moscow. But it's exactly the sort of thing they can't afford to do. Be generous like Paul Hartley was, trying to pick up something on the road in Europe. Spurs, courtesy of their Carling Cup success, competing again in the UEFA Cup this year. Bent. Zakora. Modric moves in the middle, and they would want to take any chance there, Celtic. Put behind by Caldwell for a Spurs corner. In by Genus. Genus again with that low trajectory he favours. Huddleston, time to try and place it into the corner. Blocked away by McManus. Modric, fouled by Brown.
Just got a little bit too close to Modric there. Caught with a spin there from Modric, and we've seen very little of, we'd have to say, so far.
Suakoto. Central defensive pairing, both dealt with it in tandem. And Aidan McGeady can stretch his legs. Wilson looks to provide the overlap. Genus came across to help out, make up the numbers on that Spurs right. And Gomez. So far, well, largely the man with the ball in his hands has been able to enjoy the sunshine here.
Yeah, Spurs have looked pretty comfortable. 2 clean chances in the match so far, and they've both fallen to Wandy Ramos' side. One they missed and one they took, but they're certainly worth a 1-goal lead at the moment.
Modric. Certainly enjoying the lion's share of possession at the moment as well, Tottenham, as well as enjoying that lead. 10 minutes to go on the first half, and there'll be no added time for injuries or stoppages. Competition rules say that the whistle should go on the dot of 45. Just worth reminding you that 5 outfield substitutions are allowed in this tournament as well, and they can change their goalkeeper as well, all the teams. So a reminder, if you've just joined us, David Bentley, the latest Spurs arrival, is among the substitutes here. Pre-season debut, still very much a possibility here in Feyenoord's home stadium. Huddleston. Lennon, who's come across to this left side to finish off the half. Luka Modric. Suakoto. Dawson. Zakora. Now Modric. Zakora.
Well, it's a miss hit, but the idea was certainly right. Get it in as early as possible, because Darren Bent had made his run. Good exchange to get in behind in the first place. And it's just a clumsy cross, no more than that.
Reminder that the second game of this final Jubilee tournament follows this one. Final the home side against Borussia Dortmund. That a repeat of the UEFA Cup final, which took place on this ground some 5 years ago now. Feyenoord won that one. Who will prevail? Stay with us later and you'll get the answer to that. Venegorov Hesseling for Hartley and Brown. Wilson, McGeady, McDonald and Venegorov Hesseling wait in the middle. Have to wait just that little bit longer. He's got it in here, McGeady towards Venegorov Hesseling. Woodgate got the touch. Suakoto away. Hartley's header. Wilson. Venegorov Hesseling got the touch. Robson just couldn't get there. Good defending it was by Michael Dawson.
It was a terrific knockdown from Venegorov Hesseling because he had practically no angle to get the ball back across goal. Woodgate very tight on him and he did brilliantly.
Right up there with the most threatening that Celtic have looked in the Spurs penalty area so far. McDonald. It's away by Berbatov. Robson. Away by Dawson. The goal scorer bent. Huddlestone. Modric. As Davey was saying earlier, just has the license to roam. He pops up all over the park. Charged with making things happen for Tottenham, just as he is for the Croatian national side. Well, the Croatian scorers at the European Championships, of course, early on in their first game, a penalty kick. Here's a Suakoto.
Nothing wrong with the cross. No, nobody coming round the back though. Put it into a terrific area. Bent had gone front post. Nobody coming round the back.
The Spurs formation here does represent a little bit of a change to what they've been working on in their two friendlies this week. Darren Bent been playing as the lone striker with support coming from the likes of Modric from midfield. McManus. Here's McGeady. Stolen by Zakora. Berbatov. Tom Huddlestone. Suakoto looks for the movement supplied by Dimitar Berbatov. Hartley. Huddlestone won the challenge, but he wasn't sure exactly how he'd won it. That's why Brown can collect and run at pace into Didier Zakora, win a free kick as well.
Well, he's certainly blocked off by Zakora. Not sure Scott Brown knew where he was going anyway, under pressure from Huddlestone initially. Just running almost straight into Zakora, probably getting away from him.
Wilson. Celtic seek their equaliser in these closing minutes of the first half. McDonald. McGeady beyond Zakora, good looking cross.
I just wondered if Barry Robson could do a little bit more there at the back post to get inside there. Suakoto at the back post. It was a great ball in from McGeady.
Modric now. Lovely ball through towards Bent.
Great save.
Poke it beyond Boruc.
Great save. Was he onside, I wonder? Very little in it. Polish keeper at his very best. Makes himself so big one-on-one.
despite Poland's limited contribution to Euro 2008. He was many people's pick as certainly one of the goalkeepers of the tournament, Arda Boric. Again, keeping hold of him like the Aidan McGeady saga, another important piece of the Celtic jigsaw. Berbatov.
Well, I thought Darren Bent was going long. I think he did the right thing, Berbatov. Terrific feat to lose Gary Caldwell. And he's looking for a strike partner to go in behind. Came off.
McGeady. Wilson's cross, not the most convincing. Huddleston. Bent. Berbatov in space. Feigned to shoot and tried to feed Aaron Lennon, but it all petered out rather.
Well, I think Lennon's got a case there. He's saying to Berbatov, wasn't expecting the pass.
Robson. Inside a Suakoto. Not a bad cross. And was quick to feed Modric, who in turn finds Sakura. Aaron Lennon. Dawson. Genus. Two of the players who've committed long-term to Tottenham Hotspur. And it has been the first half that the Londoners have edged, courtesy of a fine finish from Darren Bent, sloppy ball from Paul Hartley. But it all ensures that at half-time, it's Tottenham Hotspur who leads Celtic by 1-0.
Looks like hot work, doesn't it, in Rotterdam for these players? Remember, the season is still 15 days away for Tottenham, 9 for Celtic in the SPL. Juan Ramos has laid out for David Bentley, and we will see him now for the first time in a Spurs shirt. What should we expect from him in this first 45 minutes, Jimmy?
Lots of crosses. Wanting the ball, wanting to produce something for the strikers, to be able to give the final pass to go. Yeah, I'm quite excited for him to see him play for Tottenham, actually.
Tottenham have asked for the sprinklers to be on at half-time. They were saying that the pitch was too dry in that first half. What do you make of that, Alan?
Yeah, they just want the ball to be slicker passing. It's quite difficult sometimes when the park gets really hard and quite sticky, that you can't have that flowing pass. I thought certainly Tottenham coped better with it than Celtic did. And Bale's another introduction. He was injured. I think he's a very, very exciting young football player as well. So you've got Tottenham bringing on 2 real starlets that I would imagine would be big stars for them next year.
Just 19 years old. There's the temptation. Well, you can play him at left back. You can play him further forward as well. With him and Alan Hunt in your team, that's a pretty adventurous side if they're starting as fullbacks.
Very excited player. I like him as a left back because he has got no fear going forward. And I think if you want to play for the 4th or 3rd place in the Premiership, you need 2 players like that to be able to attack and keep on overlapping their left and right wingers. And he can definitely do that.
Celtic on their way as well. And maybe we can expect more from them. Remember, their season kicking off a week on Sunday against St Mirren, defence of their SPL title. So let's get back across to our commentary team there, Davy Provan and Bill Leslie.
Yeah, welcome back to this lovely warm evening in the city of Rotterdam. The Tub Stadium here continues to fill up ahead of the second game involving Feyenoord and Borussia Dortmund. Meantime, we get the second half of this first match off and underway. One change for Celtic, and a slightly concerning one. We're getting word of an injury to Stephen McManus. Darren O'Dea has come on to replace him, but Celtic as David was saying, with the start of the season just a week away, can ill afford to lose a central defender, particularly when you look at the fact that they've allowed Stephen Presley to leave the club in the summer, and also, in addition, John Kennedy go out on loan to Norwich. That's the Celtic change. A slightly lighter note, certainly for Tottenham Hotspur fans. There's this pre-season debut for David Bentley, the first chance to see exactly what Juan de Ramos is going to ask of his new signing. He has come on, and Gareth Bale, who had his season cut short last year, a knee ligament injury, and that Alec McLeish first game in charge for Birmingham. Remember that stunning goal from Sebastian Larsson? Well, that was the game he got injured in, and didn't really play a part in the rest of the season. Here he is on the ball now, the exciting Welsh international fullback.
You're talking about injury, Bill. That would be one of the reasons I think that Spurs would want the pitch heavily watered at half-time. I can tell you they didn't get any water, and the pitch is still very gluey. The danger is that players catch their studs and end up with a knee injury or an ankle injury. But it's still pretty dry out there. Any water that did go on it before the game has dried out long ago.
I thought there might be a little bit of a reshuffle at the back with the departure of Jonathan Woodgate. Well, Tom Huddleston, perhaps a little surprisingly, is the man who's dropped in there rather than Didier Zakora move across and Bale Finil at fullback. Bale is playing in midfield. It's not an alien position to Huddleston, of course. Used to play there in his Derby County days.
Just blocked off there by Barry Robson, doing the right thing, tucking in, giving his central midfielders a little bit of help there.
Here is Bentley, Tottenham Hotspur number 5. Genus. Berbatov. McGeady. McDonald. Off goes Venegorov Hesselink. Dawson making life difficult. McGeady making up the numbers in the central areas for Celtic. Trailing, remember, by that Darren Bent goal coming midway through the first half. Here is Bent. I suppose we're looking for a response from him. They certainly got it. That's a lovely looking ball from Bentley, nearly inch perfect for Berbatov.
Yeah, very nearly. Acknowledgement there from Berbatov that the ball was good. Saw it very early. But Boris out playing almost like a sweeper there on the edge of his own box. I just wonder, Bill, if Spurs will be able to squeeze the game as much as they did in the first half in the absence of Woodgate. His pace allowed him to play very high.
Here's Bent, he'll take it on himself. And they look to the referee rather nervously, the Celtic defenders.
Well, I've seen him given for that. I think Darren Bent's reaction tells its own story. I think that had been given outside the box.
Maybe in the heat of a full match in the heart of the season might have been different, but no penalty. Still just the one goal between the two sides.
I think Gary Caldwell knows he's caught there. The contact is actually just outside the box, but there's certainly contact, and at worst it was a free kick.
McDonald buffeted by Bale, and it's a Celtic free kick. Robson. Paul Hartley. Caldwell. We can confirm a groin injury to Stephen McManus. The severity of it, we're not sure. Celtic will assess that. They have a busy time between now and next weekend when they kick off against St Mirren. Another game on Sunday, of course, and another friendly match to squeeze in against Premier League opposition. They take on Manchester City next week. The armband taken on by the big Dutchman up front, Venegorov Hesselink. Will be very much in the mix here to try and receive this from Barry Robson. Good movement on the ball.
Well, he reckoned it was his, Aidan McGeady, but Bentley watertight on him there out in the touchline.
As if to illustrate the riches that Spurs have, and remember their goal this season to break into the Champions League positions south of the border. Celtic regular there north of the border. They now have 3 players out there who cost £15 million or more. Well, Gordon Strachan would love to have just one who cost anything like that. punching above their weight, particularly in Europe, has become par for the course for Celtic. Barcelona and AC Milan to stop their European runs, of course, over the last couple of seasons. Caldwell. Wilson. He's kept it in. Away by Huddleston. Bent looks up to see that Berbatov is making inroads to the far side of the penalty area. Did well to get it through to him. Now Luka Modric for Spurs. Closed down by Hartley.
Well, terrific cover from Paul Hartley, because Andres Hinkle sold himself on the edge of the box there. It required Hartley to come back all the 40 yards there to bail Celtic out.
Well, Celtic looking to find the goal which will see them preserve a record. And a pretty impressive one against Spurs, unbeaten in the last 11 friendly meetings, to go back 51 years to an end-of-season tour in June '57 for the last time that Spurs got the better of Celtic. In the driving seat here. Caldwell. Not exactly what Huddleston intended, but it's turned out okay, just about. Robson. Venegora Fesseling. Looking for McDonald. Just for a second he thought he might be able to sneak in there.
This is where Hinkle sold himself there. Modric thought he was in. Paul Hartley did ever so well to get back there.
That's his job these days, isn't it, Paul Hartley? From marauding attacking midfielder, which he was during his Hearts days, he's now the spoiler at the back, and a job he does effectively for club and country. Here's Gareth Bale. Lovely ball for Darren Bent. Berbatov making his move into the box. And they've got terrific delivery from both flanks now, with Bentley out on this right and Bale on the left. We've seen examples of it. And I'm sure we'll see more. Here's Bentley now. Modric. Zakora. Took it early.
I think it's a miss hit. Trying to pull it across deeper than that, never really got his foot round the ball. But Spurs at the moment, you'd have to say, still largely bossing the game.
And they do look like they have another gear they can click into if they want to, Tottenham Hotspur as well. That's Celtic, even in pre-season, the past masters of never giving up the cause, and while it is 1-0, might leave it late, but don't rule them out. Made the one change in force due to that injury to Stephen McManus at half-time. There's going to be another change at the back. Paul Caddis, who's had an impressive pre-season, is going to come on, the young fullback. Genus. Comfortable possession for Tottenham. Being pressed too much by Celtic. Bentley looking to release Bent. Lovely turn by Bent.
Oh, I did well. Darren O'Dea who caught. Bent went short, then spun. O'Dea caught wrong side, did ever so well to get onto his left foot. And his movement has been a real problem this evening, Darren Bent, for this Celtic backline.
Hinkle. One day Ramos will know all about him. He was signed by Ramos at Seville before Gordon Strachan snapped him up at the start of last season, and Hinkle will be able to play in the Champions League this year, something he couldn't because he'd featured for Seville last season. Now here comes the change for Celtic. Paul Caddis on, and Barry Robson comes off.
I can only assume that Hinkle's going to play one forward and Caddis a right back. Either or, both happier on the front foot.
Well, it's a reminder to Gordon Strachan that the injuries already picked up, the size of his squad and the immediacy at the start of the season. Robson, a key man. His performances over the course of 2008 so far have made him just that. Provided that injection that they needed to get those 7 consecutive league wins to put the pressure on Rangers and keep hold of that SPL title of theirs. Expansive ball by Bentley. Kept his eye on that one, Hinkle. And Caddis, who slotted in just in front of him. And when he is playing at the back, Caddis likes to get forward. Simply given a license to do that. What a baptism of fire he had on his home debut as well. He's thrown in against Barcelona. Ronaldinho started the game with Samuel Eto'o both bearing down on him, and then Thierry Henry came off the bench.
He did pretty well that night, if I remember.
They're definitely in the market for full-backs, aren't they, Celtic? Paul Robinson of West Bromwich Albion, the latest I saw linked this week. Lee Naylor has expressed his desire for family reasons to return back to England. Naylor among the Celtic subs here. David Bentley. Cut out by Brown. And a goal of Hesselink. Hartley. Caldwell looks long.
It's not the worst ball in the world. I think he found a good angle there. Very good if Hesselink just caught on his heels. I think he's surprised it came forward. And so often he's been showing, but nothing's come his way.
Berbatov showing for Bent. Couldn't quite execute the pass he was looking for. And it was the Berbatov and Keane show last season for Spurs, wasn't it? 23 goals apiece. If Berbatov does go, it's a question, how do you replace that many goals? Darren Bent's response over the last week would suggest that he's very keen to be considered in the mix rather than the fringe role he played last year. More names to arrive. The Russian pair of Arshavin and Pavlyuchenko talked about this week. As
David Villa as well, Bill. I mean, I don't think for a moment Spurs have spent the money they have in midfield players if they're going to sell their quality up front. And even if Berbatov does go, you know, I'm sure there'll be a lot more transfer activity.
Berbatov showing the wonderful close control he has in flicking it out to Bent here. Bentley wanted it played back. Berbatov gets it. 3 for company, Berbatov. Don't rule him out, though. This took on too much. Now McGeady. And Caddis. Well, Celtic's most impressive spell of the match, in terms of concerning Spurs at the back, probably came just before they conceded the goal. I'd just like to be able to ask a few more questions of this Spurs defence.
Yeah, I think you're dead right. And friendly or not, I'm sure Gordon Strachan had plenty to say at half-time. They've given Spurs practically nothing to think about tonight. That's the disappointing thing. You know, less than a fortnight away from the kick-off. I think Gordon Strachan would have been looking for a lot more tonight.
Modric. Genus. Celtic getting ready to make a couple more changes. Lee Naylor going to come on in a moment, as is Georgios Samaras. Loan move made permanent over the summer. Here's Bentley. Jermaine Genus. Cadiz can get away from Esuakoto. He's found McDonald. Trying to leave Genus in his wake. Just took a bite there, Jermaine Genus, the Spurs captain, and free kick follows.
I think he'd be quite happy with the free kick, Bill. But nowhere to go there, Scott McDonald.
And use this break just before the free kick, Celtic, to make these changes. Mark Wilson, the makeshift left back, will be replaced by the more regular one, certainly over the last couple of seasons, Lee Naylor. And a like-for-like swap up front. Venegor of Hesselink replaced by Georgios Samaras, a Greek who has experience of Dutch football. Manchester City picked him up from Heerenveen, signed by Stuart Pearce for £6 million. Paul Hartley takes on the captain's armband. Change for Spurs as well. They're going to give Ledley King some important game time. Started up at Norwich on Monday night, and he'll, they hope, finish the match here on Friday. So all change and back to business. Free kick. Samaras got the touch and hoisted away for Tottenham Hotspur.
That's good cover there. Scott McDonald was in otherwise. Gareth Bale who read it. Nice little disguised free kick there from Lee Naylor.
Hartley. Opportunity for Brown. Blocked well by Dawson, who was quick on the scene. Caldwell hangs it up. Brown playing a slightly more advanced role. Here's Scott McDonald, last season's goal machine, top scorer for the club and indeed the SPL overall top scorer. Busy run this from Zakora. Now Bale. Trying to thread it through for Bent. Blocked there by Darren O'Dea. We were speaking this week about wondering exactly where his opportunities were going to come this season. McManus barely missed a minute of football last year. Gary Caldwell certainly not towards the end of the season. An injury to McManus might just need that he's required at the start of the SPL season next weekend. Here's Brown. Naylor. Bentley. Dimitar Berbatov. Bale on the move. Gets there ahead of Hinkle. And Bent the only one in the middle at the moment. Caldwell cuts it out. Berbatov, Bentley, Berbatov on the run, but he's offside.
I don't know what he's trying to say to his teammate there. Maybe wanted it a little bit earlier. Made a lovely angle. It's Gary Caldwell who gets up just in time.
Naylor, McDonald. Notable again that Brown is getting into the penalty area, or trying to do that from Caddis's touch. McDonald glances wide.
Well, he's going to do very well to score from that range, Scott McDonald, and the cross is slightly behind him. He's got an awful lot to do there. Comes in at good pace, but it gives him an awful lot of work to do to score.
Samaras putting the pressure on Dawson. Space for David Bentley to try and make something happen. McGeady closes him down, does it well. Hinkle finds Hartley. Naylor seeking Samaras. Modric. So many players out there in the light blue of Spurs who can make something happen. Look at the creativity they've got. Latest addition, Bentley, of course. This man on the ball, Modric.
Giovanni to come in as well.
He's not even in the squad, so presumably keeping his powder dry for Sunday. He's here, a 19-year-old, Mexican international, signing from Barcelona. Certainly not going to be a dull season, 2008, 2009 at White Hart Lane, you wouldn't think. Naylor. Modric. It's a familiar pattern in many ways for Celtic on their European travels, the opposition having the lion's share of possession. A moment of momentary lapse of reason, shall we say, seeing the opposition gifted a goal. It's always the fine margins that have made the difference if you look back over at least the last couple of years. Here's the Cora looking to make the difference, but comfortable for Boris again.
Well, they did well to get him down outside in the first place, Cora. Lovely little interplay. And he really had no angle at all to find Berbatov. That's the kind of burst of interplay that the Celtic have lacked tonight. A little bit of penetration, particularly in the wide areas. Over-reliance on this man, Aidan McGeady, at times.
Slowly the pieces are being put into place for Juan de Ramos's first full season in charge at White Hart Lane. Zakora. Putting pressure on the Croat. Suakoto able to take it in his stride. Bentley. Berbatov, David Bentley. And get it onto his right foot. Samaras. Bale has it back for Spurs. Wants to go himself here, Gareth Bale. It's a good run. It's a very good run. It's over Boris. No one coming in at the far post, though.
Well, it deserved far better, didn't it? Wonderful play from Gareth Bale under real pressure. Somehow managed to get himself to the byline and deliver. It was Samaras who sold Caddis short in the first place. Gets inside Hinkle. Little disguise to get down the outside of Gary Caldwell, and a lovely little dink here into the back post. No takers.
Almost the forgotten man because of that injury last season. But at the start of this, he'll feel in many ways like a new signing, even though he did make an impact in many ways towards the start of last season. "20 minutes to go. A goal scored on 25 by Darren Bent. Still remains the separating factor here at the Kuip Stadium in Rotterdam. The first game of this 4-team tournament. Here's Berbatov. Scott Brown. Hartley. Hopeful, but ultimately not delivering anything for Celtic again. Bentley tries a similar route for Tottenham. Five outfield substitutions allowed. Celtic have made 4. Out to make it 5. Massimo Donati is shortly to join us. McGeady.
Samaras wanted it deeper. Zakora's trying to show Aiden McGeady the outside. Game's starting to stretch a little bit now. 1 or 2 openings that weren't there earlier in the game now appearing.
Hinkle, one-time German international. Weak pass, accepted gratefully by Asuakoto. Berbatov. Darren Bent. Berbatov. Modric has Bentley wide. David Bentley across the face of goal. Bale was there and he was close.
Just behind them, maybe a fraction too high as well, but again, Spurs very patient till they finally get the pass down the outside. Clipped in by Bentley, fraction too high, if anything. Bale in maybe a fraction early.
Naylor. McGeady. Celtic throw. And before they take it, here comes the Celtic change. Hartley the man to make way for the Italian. A mixed first season, probably the way that most people see it. Massimo Donati, and had his highs. That late goal against Shakhtar Donetsk, which kept Celtic on course for the knockout phase of the Champions League, but not really living up to his billing when he arrived 12 months ago. Here is Donati, former AC Milan man. Brown. Offside flag up. Well, it is still 1, and while the gap remains 1, there's always a possibility of a Celtic speciality. Spurs looking to contrive to double their lead here. Out by Bentley, Berbatov. Just did enough, Caldwell.
I just wonder if Berbatov had one eye on Gary Caldwell, who's backing into him. A terrific ball in here. Look at the action he gets on the ball. I just wonder if he thinks he's maybe going to header Gary Caldwell if he goes right through this. Either way, he doesn't get much on it.
Samaras got in there ahead of Ledley King. Tidy again by Luka Modric. He's very little away. Samaras, he does just that. Spurs have it back. It's always hard to tell exactly what both sides are looking for from pre-season games.
Well, they're getting the water now, Bill. Sprinklers are on.
There we go. Just a half an hour late. Wanted it at the start of half-time, not with a quarter of an hour to go in the match. It's fine when it's in that corner at the moment, but any closer, might be a little shower for some of the players. David Bentley. Good support from Didier Zakora. Bale and Bent in the box. Another good cross by Bentley. There's Bent.
Well, a good set-up play. Hard for Bent to generate any power because he had to come back the way to meet the cross. He's in early. Well, Bentley somehow squeezed the cross in. He's going to do very well to generate the power to score from there.
Scott Brown. Bale taking it away from Hinkle, only temporarily. Ledley King, who had a little slip-up at Norwich. His mistake allowed Jamie Cureton to equalise early on in that match. Want to remember that he's still very much treading gingerly in terms of a full first-team return. That knee injury, which, is still probably career-threatening. David Bentley. Naylor took a bite but didn't get what he was looking for. Genus does. And now Zakora. Asuakoto.
Well, I think in a competitive game, Andres Hinkle's looking at a booking there. The referee's done him a favour keeping the card in his pocket. Certainly caught Gareth Bale well late. Unfortunately, Bale back on his feet.
First set-piece opportunity for David Bentley. Plenty of willing recipients on the edge of the Celtic box. A dipping delivery. Back with Bentley. Clever touch to find Modric. Zakora. Berbatov. Away by OD. Hinkle. And pressure on him from Bale. Naylor is looking to play it long, looking for movement, but in terms of Spurs dealing with the Celtic threat has been a little bit predictable, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and you know, we predicted before the game that Celtic might be a little bit sharper because they're ahead in their preparations compared to Spurs, but if anything, it's Wandy Ramos' side that has looked sharper, looked brighter, more energetic.
You certainly wouldn't know whose season started first, judging by the ebb and flow of this contest. Just the one goal advantage for Spurs, but in truth they've never really looked very uncomfortable against the Scottish champions. Celtic looking uncomfortable here. Gareth Bale looking for Dimitar Berbatov. Boric has missed it. It's a tap-in for David Bentley. First game for Spurs, first goal for Spurs. David Bentley has arrived.
I just wonder if Dimitar Berbatov deliberately leaves this at the front post. Bale does brilliantly to survive that challenge from Cogwell, but as it comes in, just wonder if he took Lee Naylor over the ball there deliberately, knowing Bentley was coming in at the back post. Naylor well positioned here, but I think he's expecting Berbatov to get something on this. And he pulls out, and it foxes both Naylor and Boris and leaves Bentley with a debut goal tap-in. Terrific play from Bale, and he's given the manager plenty to think about tonight.
Well, could it have gone much better for Spurs and for David Bentley? Probably not. It's been a lovely stroll in the Dutch sunshine here for Celtic. Well, they have a few more problems. They have that injury to Stephen McManus, which they'll assess, a groin problem which saw him withdrawn at half-time. And they have a pre-season defeat in a game where they haven't really played as much of a part as they'd have liked. Of course, it is just a pre-season game and you can't read altogether too much, but they'd have wanted more, I'm sure. David Bentley, he's in the mood now. Berbatov. Modric. Gareth Bale. Corner kick for Tottenham. Couple of changes left available to Spurs, and they want to make them sooner rather than later. Bentley will take the corner. King forward, Dawson forward. Here's Berbatov.
Oh, he had plenty of time to set himself, nobody getting out to him. Picked out well by Bentley from the corner, ball travelled a long way. Just trying to open his body here. It's a little bit too much cut on it.
Well, off comes Didier Zakora for Spurs. And another Welsh starlet comes on. Gareth Bale on the left, and now we've got Chris Gunter on the right. And replacing Luka Modric, Jamie O'Hara. Well, Davey, as I mentioned a moment ago, you can't read too much into a pre-season game like this, but it is certainly an illustration of the haves and the have-nots in financial terms and strength and depth.
Well, big time, you know, and Gordon Strachan's well aware of that. He just has to make do with what he has. You've got to say, exciting times to be a Spurs supporter. And not just the money they're spending, but the type of player they're bringing in. You know, they're all worth watching, all worth paying in to see. The question is, can they keep Berbatov?
Another question, if they don't, who have they got lined up? Can't wait for the season to get underway. Away at Middlesbrough in the home game against Sunderland, and then an encounter which for many years they didn't enjoy at all, a match against Chelsea, licking their lips after the Carling Cup win last season and the amazing 4-4 draw they had after that towards the end of the season at White Hart Lane. That contest at Stamford Bridge. Here's Berbatov in towards Bent. Suakoto, Bale. It's very good work by Suakoto. Bentley's underneath it. Berbatov. A wild swing, but why not?
Well, he knows he's capable. The ball's high as he hits it. He's a very little target to hit. But given the way he's played tonight, I'm not surprised he took it on here, Berbatov.
Which started off The loss of the talismanic Robbie Keane has ended on a high, no doubt about it. 12 goals scored now in 3 games. The arrival of David Bentley. And this Ramos brand of football, which continues to take shape ahead of the new season. Naylor. McGeady for Donati. Donati has a crack, but the challenge from Gareth Bale took the sting out of it. Cadiz. McDonald couldn't hold on to it. The increase in the decibel level here at the Kuip Stadium is because the players have started to appear ahead of the second match. Don't forget, it pretty much follows straight on Feyenoord against Borussia Dortmund. And the next round of matches is on Sunday afternoon. Celtic in action against their hosts, Feyenoord. Confirm that you can see that. 6:45 the time, Sky Sports 1. Spurs don't get to take on Feyenoord in the repeat of the 1974 UEFA Cup final. Good run this from Naylor. McGeady to his left. McDonald pulls away at the far post. Cut back from McGeady.
Too many passes. I don't know why he didn't take the shot on. You know, might get something back off the goalkeeper had he taken it on.
There's a burst from Naylor which set it up. Aidan McGeady. McDonald. Donati. Naylor. Samaras. Brown. This is good from Celtic. Scott Brown. Back to block was Ledley King. Aidan McGeady. A rare bit of work from Aurelio Gomez.
Saving their best football for the final couple of minutes of the match, Celtic. Again, I think Scott Brown could have taken it earlier on his left foot, but it took a terrific block from King to deny him.
Well, Spurs haven't finished. Here's Gareth Bale. Bent. Side netting only. Why not? He's scoring from everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, he's been very lively tonight. It's a terrific performance from Dan Bent. Just shift and hit here. He's going to do well to beat Boris at his near post. But it's a measure of his confidence that he's prepared to take the shot on here.
Gunter. Away by O'D. Genus. Berbatov. Bentley. Bale. It's a good sweeping move this by Tottenham Hotspur. No finish as it's away by Naylor. Dawson. Timed by Gunter. McGeady. Time running out for Celtic to salvage something. Here's Massimo Donati, gets the better of Asua Cotto. Donati!
I can see what's in his mind, just trying to wrap his left foot around to try to find that top left-hand corner. Good forward run from Donati.
It's Tottenham Hotspur who are smiling after match one of the final Jubilee tournament, and it's David Bentley who has completed the win, adding to that first half goal from Darren Bent. Celtic not mustering much against Juan de Ramos's impressive-looking outfit. Final score then in this first match of the tournament, Celtic 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2.
Good work out for Spurs, certainly. Celtic may be a little bit disappointed with their first game of this tournament. We'll get the boys' thoughts on that in just a moment. Remember, Celtic go again on Sunday. Next up here, we have the hosts, Feyenoord, taking on Borussia Dortmund. That's next, coming your way on Sky Sports 2. And this is the weekend that really gets things going. Pre-season tournaments, the Emirates Cup tomorrow with Real Madrid Hamburg. That's 1:30, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. And the hosts, Arsenal, take on Juventus at 4 on the same channels, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. And then the reverse fixtures for the Emirates Cup on Sunday sees Juventus Hamburg. The earlier game at 1:30 start, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. Same channels, 4 o'clock for Arsenal against Real Madrid. And also on Sunday we have the conclusion of the Feyenoord Jubilee tournament with Spurs the first game. They take on the Bundesliga side Dortmund, 4:30 Sky Sports 1. And the final game, Feyenoord take on Celtic, 6:45 Sky Sports 1, the rerun of the 1970 European Cup final. We'll hear much more from Jimmy Floyd, Hasselbank and Alan McInally when we come back. Reflecting on David Bentley's first 45 minutes in a Spurs shirt, never any doubt he loved the club.